I am the type of person who ruminates on past events where I felt embarrassed, guilty, scared. I would relive these moments over and over in my head. Most people, when they have these types of thoughts or when these types of events happen to them, within a week, they forget about it and they move on with their lives. For me, I did not have that luxury. My brain loves to ruminate and it loves throwing me right back in that moment, as if I am reliving that moment over and over and over again. If you're watching this video, if you haven't clicked off already, you do the same thing. And I want to tell you, there is something you can do about it. I've been using this technique recently, and it's helped me tremendously to overcome reliving in these moments. I have taken the power out of those moments, and I've given it back to myself. And it's a simple trick. I think it's better to show and not tell. I could tell you the technique, or I could show you what I did. So I am wanting to start a business. I've never been a business-oriented person, so it's like the first time I'm really doing something more like businessy. And one thing is like, well, how do you get clients? How do you get customers? Well, you call them. And I remember when I was young, I used to have incredible social anxiety, which I overcame. However, when it came to cold calling, I was thrusted right back into the same feeling of when I was a kid. I was scared. I would hug myself to comfort myself. I would shake back and forth. My voice would stutter. My mind would be going a million thoughts per second. And even when I did those calls, and obviously they all went terrible, when I hung up the phone and I put the phone down and I walked away. I went into the other room. I still felt afraid. I was still shaking. This was such an emotional roller coaster. Not even a good fun kind, like a really scary, almost die type of shit. And the worst part is, that day, my mind kept replaying that thought. The next day, it kept replaying that thought. A week later, it kept thinking about that moment and throwing me right back into where I was. And I said, enough is enough. There's got to be something out there. What is up with these thoughts in my mind? And why do they keep badgering me? What the fuck did I do? And I came across this technique. And I view it as, imagine you have a USB. And instead of being able to delete files when the space is full and you add another file, it just overwrites whatever was already there. So if you have a picture and you want to put another picture, well, that old picture just disappears and a new one appears. And everything else is the same, but just that one little area was changed. How can you do that with your mind? How can you take this moment that was scary, embarrassing, guilt-inducing? How can you turn that into something different? How can you turn that into something that's not as powerful? Something that was the kind of thing that happened. What you do is you create a caricature of that moment. You make it super ridiculous. You sit down, close your eyes, you imagine that moment, and then you make their nose really big. You make your nose really big. Now you're on a unicycle. Now this funky, goofy music is playing in the background. Now you guys are talking gibberish. Now it's 2x speed. Now we're rewinding the footage and we're getting more and more ridiculous, more and more goofy each and every time. And the best thing, if you laugh, if you giggle to yourself, even better. You are doing amazing. You do this for 5-10 minutes, and I guarantee you that original thought will no longer have the grip it had on you. It won't. You are overriding what your brain has subconsciously decided was the narrative. You are overriding that. You are taking the power of that moment away. And when I did this for this particular moment, it lost its grip. I rarely even think about it. Now I have to consciously make effort to think about that moment, to really put myself back into how I felt. It takes effort for me to do that now. Whereas before, my mind would just be like, hey, remember that moment? Here you go. Oh, you don't like it? Too bad. Here it is. Give this a try. I'm telling you, you will be much more at peace. You will feel powerful. You will feel like you are in control of your brain. Let me know how that goes. Peace out.